Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Novel Nana. I'm Bex. Here on this channel we talk about all things writerly related. So if that interests you, stay tuned. Okay, so today's video is going to be episode 3 in our conflict topic of my Bootcamp with Bex series. This series is all about getting back to those basics, the building blocks of story. So I'm going to go ahead and read to you what's on my whiteboard because you know how I love my whiteboards. And if you can't see it, it's okay. I know there's some glares on it, but again, I will be touching on these as quickly as possible so we can just go ahead and get into the video. All right, so Boot Camp with Bex, Conflict, Episode 3. And basically, last week we had spoken about the different types of story conflict and how they can relate to your style of story. Different ones that you could use considering the tone, the mood, and even the genre and the goal of your story. So today we are going to dive a little bit deeper into the internal and external conflict. So I'm sure you guys, most of you out there, especially if you're writers, already know this. But to those out there that need maybe a little refresher or a different maybe perception of it, or just, maybe you are learning it for the first time. My newbies out there, I gotcha. So anyway, we're going to go into the internal. We're going to start there because that is basically the only one type of conflict that falls under internal would be our character versus self. Now that is but one type of conflict. There is also external types of conflict. Now the external types of conflict could vary or shift a few words here and there, depending on who is telling you about those types of conflict. But basically, they are character versus character or group, character versus society, um, character versus machine, character versus nature. Now, this could be the elements or an event or a disaster that all falls under nature. Character versus destiny. This is also sometimes character versus time. I've also seen it as character versus luck or a deity. But anyway, the character versus character. Um, this could also be character versus a group of characters, not to be confused with character versus society, because character versus character or a group of characters is usually confined to, just a few characters or a few opposing people. But character versus society is society as a whole. Okay, anyway, getting back to it. The internal is the conflict that takes place, character versus self. So that conflict is going to take place within your character's mind or their heart, so head or heart. And these types of conflict, the character versus self, usually addresses either their morals or their upbringing or their beliefs or their values. It could also be their thoughts, their minds, their ideas. It could be even as far as getting control, that self-control over temptation or overcoming addiction or battling or struggling with. So this type of conflict, internal, the character versus self, is often described as a fight or a struggle within. So this could also, like I said, it's the mindset. Not always, but usually it's the mindset. It's either the head or the heart internally. Okay, and this usually has a this or that type of scenario happening as a conflict. And what I mean by this is it could be a choice or a decision that needs to be made, a this or that. So that could be that struggle within their mind or within their heart on which one to choose. So they struggle back and forth with that until they ultimately make a decision. Okay, so the choice or the decision can also be a response or a resolve on a certain matter over opposition. This could be as simple as a yes or no, an agreement or agree or disagree. It could be, right versus wrong for your character. It could be stopping a certain behavior or a certain, let's say maybe they're going, I don't know, maybe it's an addiction. Okay, let's say addiction. So maybe the choice could be whether to stop or continue, if that makes sense, doing that certain behavior or addiction. Excuse me. Excuse me. It could be also as simple as to stay or go. It could be that fight or flight, them struggling which one to give into. Okay, so moving on back to the external conflicts. Okay, so the character versus character is usually, well, it's pretty much just like it says, character versus character. So this character versus character sometimes could be a group. This is an opposing outside force or person or persons, okay? So this is where good guy versus bad guy or protag versus antag. It could be, the good person or good guy character versus a group, like a bad group or a bad, well, they don't even really have to be bad. It could be simple as a competition, but we'll get to that one. Anyway, character versus character is usually one force or one character opposing your main character. Okay, character versus society is our second type, external conflict. Now, it is exactly what it says, character versus a society. Okay, number 3, character versus machine. I have heard this called character versus, I think it was technology maybe, but it all falls under the same thing, character versus machine. So number 4 on our list is character versus nature. This deals with elements. It deals with an event or a natural disaster. That all falls under character versus nature. Okay, on to the 5th one is character versus destiny. This is one that I told you earlier that I have heard it called character versus time. Okay, so they can also fall under, the destiny can fall under a deity, so character versus deity. Now, there are some that will say deities fall under the character versus character, if your deity is a character in your book. Okay, anyway, it just depends on you, the writer, as where you want to take that conflict. Okay, so going outside of the self is our external. So we're going to break it down just a little bit more. So let's say your good guy versus bad guy or group. This does not have to be a physical fight. This could just be a conflict, maybe a rival person, a rival idea, a rival group that holds that same belief or idea. This could also be a competition, say a race or a boxer versus another boxer. I think you guys get the gist. So we'll move on to number 2, which was the character versus society. Now, this could be a government. This could be a village mindset. That could be that society. This could also be a system in place. This could be an oppression, whether that be a political oppression or a religious oppression or whatever the case may be for your book. This all would fall under that character versus society. Okay, moving right along. So number 3, person versus technology. This could be what is it called? An AI. This could also be something as simple as technology being their cell phone or their computer, something along those lines. It could also be a robot. It could be, anything that's machine. So, but again, I've heard it called character versus technology. But it still falls under the character versus machine. So moving on to number 4, character versus nature. Again, this is the elements or events or natural disasters. Now, this can be anything, flood, tornado, earthquake, tsunami, hurricane, an asteroid, fire, flood, whatever the case may be. It can also be animals. It could be a disease. It doesn't have to be a disaster. Animals and disease also, like say, I don't know, a virus, that would still be considered nature or fall under the nature category of external conflict. Now, moving right along, I did want to touch real quick on the crucible effect when you're writing. That's the type of conflict where it is continued throughout the story until it is resolved. Okay, so the crucible is a situation that your character, and like character versus character, the character versus character, they cannot easily get away from whatever that situation is, whether they're business partners or maybe it's a familial situation. It could be husband and wife or spouse, husband, wife. It could be that they're trapped somehow. Again, that would be a situation which you would have to get out of. But if you're trapped in a certain scenario, whatever the case may be, maybe you're locked in a room together or a building or stranded on an island together or on a boat or whatever the case may be. It could be a marriage, a partnership, a team. Like maybe you're part of the basketball team and you have to go along to get along, basically. Maybe they are a teammate or a classmate, or it could be a class situation. It could be family. It could be a confinement to house, jail, a car, a building, any type of situation that you can think of where your character cannot easily be separated from that opposing character or force. Now, usually, like I said, this does fall under character versus character. However, depending on your creative liberties that you want to take, it could fall under any of the above. So, hi guys. I'm hoping that I can fix this before it gets uploaded. But anywho, this is editing me here, and I'm going to try to put this in the right place. If not, it'll come at the end, but whatever. I did realize when I was watching this back to upload that I forgot to do number 5 on here. So I'm going to do that real quick for you. And if I do somehow manage to put it in the right place, then bear with me, guys. It is what it is. So number 5 on the external conflict was character versus destiny. Okay, so down here, I'm going to explain it just a little bit better and give you a few more examples. So this could fall under fate. It could fall under destiny. It could fall under a deity or luck. Or a streak of luck. It could fall under time, as we've mentioned before. It could fall under death or a spirit world. It could be an opposing magic force. It could be a curse. It could be karma. All of this would fall under the character versus destiny or deity. But anyway, that's all I have, and hopefully this will get fixed post-production. But anyway, thanks, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me today, coming back for this boot camp series. I do so appreciate each and every one of you. If you did get any value from today's video, please be sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe if you want to. And I will hopefully get you guys to comment on which one of these you found the most interesting or intriguing, or the type of conflict that you like to write in your story. Leave me a comment down below. I'll be sure to read it. And also, if you want to know the next time that I upload, simply ding that bell. That's what it's there for, guys. And anyway, next week we will be doing, I think, maybe perhaps one more video on conflict before we move on in our boot camp series. But thank you again for joining me. I do so appreciate you, as I have said. And if you would like to follow me on the social medias, just, all my links are in the description box below. So be sure to check me out on my other social media platforms. Thanks again, guys. Until next time, happy writing. Bye, guys.